This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, everyone. I
Good
welcome
morning,
you
ma'am.
again on the second session and first hands-on session of the day, and it will be based on the Silvaco. We are just waiting for 5 minutes for all the participants to join. Then this session will be taken by me only. We'll start at sharp 11:15. Please tell your friends, colleagues to join the link. Yes, it's 11:15 and we should start up with the first hands-on of the session. Yesterday, I tried to give you a glimpse of in last session, I tried to give you a glimpse of atomistic simulation.
Your voice is not coming clearly, ma'am.
आई थिंक माइक को आपको थोड़ा पास लाना होगा.
Now, am I audible?
मच बेटर, काफी बेटर है.
Am I audible now?
यस यस मैम.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Can anyone confirm whether I am audible or not?
Ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
In the chat
You are
box.
audible, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Yes, okay, thank you. So, welcome to the second session of the day and first hands-on on the day. Where did I left for the yes, I think now my slides are visible. Yes, it is visible. Okay, fine. Yes, yesterday what did we see? Yesterday we saw how to go for a atomic level of simulation. How will your structure, 2D structure or 1D structure will behave when one isolated atom of one element is getting closer to the isolated atom of the another element. How it is supposed to interact. And the basic theory that needs to develop for this was density functional theory. Then I gave you an example of, we went for the quantum ATK, I gave you the example of a single isolated fluorine atom having a highest electronegativity. So after hydrogen, the fluorine is the atom which is mostly used for the passivation. That is why I gave you the fluorine example. Then we went to nitrogen dioxide simulation for the gas sensing application. Then we saw how a graphene nanoribbon can be simulated. We saw that the graphene nanoribbon was a perfect semiconductor or metallic? Metallic. Then we went for gallium nitride nanoribbon and gallium nitride. Conventional gallium nitride was a semiconductor with a band gap of 3.4 electron volts. Somebody corrected me in the chat box. Yes. Then what did we saw in the last example of gallium nitride? That it was absolutely behaving as metallic. Gallium nitride is a wide band gap semiconductor conventionally used for past 7 to 8 decades for the HEMT application and other high power applications. But when you are using a DFT simulation, it is showing it to be a metallic. Then I gave you a task. Then how are you supposed to make this 2D gallium nitride, which was behaving as a metallic, again semiconducting, but this time its semiconductor EG should be 1 electron volt. Have anyone tried to search for the answer? If yes, you can type yes in the chat box. I am here. And if you haven't done it, I'll tell you. See, any nanostructure, any nanoribbon is showing a two dangling bonds edges because these two edges are free. If you are passivating those two edges, then if all the bonds are formed, all the covalent bonds are formed, then you will not get any energy level, energy band. No, it's not band. For 2D, it is energy level. You will not get any energy level at the Fermi, and you'll say that. What will you say? It is semiconducting. So if it is behaving as metallic because there are n number of dangling bond at the two edges of this graphene nanoribbon, what should I do? I should make hydrogen to form one layer and another hydrogen that can get associated with the other edge of your graphene nanoribbon. Both these edges of the graphene nanoribbon will be passivated either by hydrogen or by fluorine. When you are passivating it, you will get that the band gap starts opening up. And once the band gap opens, what do you say? Yes, now it is again started behaving as a semiconductor. So the answer of the yesterday's task is clear to you? Okay. So first thing first, I have to cover the second software in the second hands-on. It was this particular was for the last hands-on session. We will spend. Okay. So this hands-on is on Silvaco TCAD. So it is atomistic. What is it? It is atomistic or it is a bulk simulation. Silvaco TCAD is a bulk simulation. So if we are doing, don't get confused. The yesterday hands-on was 2D simulation. It can see atom, it can see electron in an atom. Okay. Its abstraction level is still a single electron. The density functional theory's abstraction level is still a single electron. But when we are going to simulate devices, in case of devices, what is the case? In case of devices, it is not the atomistic simulation, it is your bulk simulation. I do not know why I am not able to write it. Okay, fine. So here is my talk outline. Yes, I think yes, it is changing, right? So here's my talk outline. I'll start with the introduction of TCAD, why there is a need of TCAD, although I introduced it in the last hands-on also. It is practically impossible to fabricate every single structure and check for its performance because that fabrication needs enormous amount of investment, especially talking about the silicon industry. So what do? You go for the simulations where you can check all the possible things and you can, this way you can save that experimentation cost. Then Silvaco is one of a very powerful tool. It is very much in the market post in 2005 onwards. People are working on the semiconductor devices. They are working on the Silvaco. They are using it. It's well accepted among the research community. Then how does it work? What are the various analogies in Silvaco? What is the process simulation? What is device simulation? See, Silvaco has a capability to check two kind of parameters. One is the process parameter like diffusion, oxidation, doping, annealing. However, the another is the device simulation, like what is the effect of bias, what will be the effect of doping, what will be the effect of dimensional changes, what will be the effect of doping gradient change. If you want to see those, it particular simulation is called device simulation. Then characterization and analysis. How can you characterize it and use for the thing? And then our next work is like, I'll again give you a task that we'll discuss tomorrow in my talk session. The both of these are my hands. So I'll give you a task and we'll discuss it in our hands-on session. Right. So TCAD is a technology computer-aided design, which is an electronic design automation basically for the semiconducting to emulate the semiconductor fabrication and semiconductor device operation. It has two aspects, process TCAD and device TCAD. The process TCAD means you will be using a particular subsection of Silvaco. It is called as, for process, it is Athena, A-T-H-E-N-A. When you install Silvaco, you will see n number of bundles in it. People know that it is a software. The software has a various subblocks in it. The process related subblocks or codes are being done via Athena. However, if you are interested in the device simulation parameters, you will go for Atlas. Athena and Atlas are the two most commonly used bundle of Silvaco. There are various other, like Victory is there, Supreme is there. I do not remember correctly, but there is a particular bundle for mixed mode simulation where you can simulate a single device and you can make a circuit out of it, and you can analyze both the device performance as well as the circuit performance. But here in this 2 hours, we'll be focused on only Atlas for the device parameter and Athena for the process parameter. So there are number of built library in different. Why there is library for semiconducting material? Any electronic device will not be formed with only with metal. It has to have a semiconducting material, because semiconductor material only gives you the tailorability of electronic property. If something is having a very vast band gap insulator, you might not be able to tailor it. If some metal is not having any band gap, so if as soon as you are connecting a potential to it, it will have a current. But you cannot control it. If you want to control it, what will you do? You will use a semiconducting material, because tailoring the electronic property of a semiconductor material would be easier for you. That is why it has a rich, I won't say very rich built-in library, because right now they have introduced graphene or graphene nanoribbon, but with a very limited capability. But yes, you can simulate graphene also using Silvaco, but it will not be an atomistic simulation. It will again a 3D simulation. So you can characterize various materials which are there in the library. There are 23 substrates. How many substrate we know? Let us check. Metallic substrate, then silicon substrate, then gallium arsenide, indium phosphide, gallium nitride, then many more. All these substrate, basic requirement of substrate is it should be inherent material. It should not react with your silicon. It should not react with the gallium arsenide. It should not react with the device layer. So it should be a substrate should be an inert and a wide band gap material. That is why people are going for silicon on insulator. It means SiO2 is very popularly used as a substrate material. Then there are 15 different types of impurity materials. What am I telling you? These are the impurities. Like if you are someday interested in checking the silicon performance when it is being doped with arsenic, yes, you can do it in Silvaco, because there are 15 dopants that you can consider. So someday, usually people dope silicon with boron or phosphorus. But if I am interested in checking silicon behavior with beryllium doping, can I do it? Yes, it is very well defined in Silvaco library, so I can do it. Okay. Then how does it work? Coming to the exact working of Silvaco, Silvaco has two major thing I have told you. What are the two major thing? Device that has to be simulated by Atlas, and process that has to be simulated via Athena. First of all, you mount Silvaco, and if you are at all you are interested in analyzing any process related parameter, what will you do? You will invoke the Athena program. Go Athena. The very first line you have to write which subprogram, which particular bundle you want to invoke. If it is process related, if you are interested in diffusion, doping, annealing, ion implantation, oxidation, all kind of behavior, then you'll what will you mount? Then you'll mount Athena. But if you are interested in the device related parameters, then what will you do? You will obviously mount the Atlas first. Invoke the Atlas program first. Then what is this DECbuild? DECbuild is you input what is the input file for Silvaco? .in file is the input file. You put all those input commands in DECbuild, and then depending on the input you decide. Whether you want to enter in the process thing or you want to enter in the device thing. And after that, you want to, as yesterday, what was the case? You go to builder, then you go to, after builder, there was a calculator. That is how you go to Atlas, but you cannot check it directly. So whatever result you are getting, that has to be given a GUI, and the Tony plot is the GUI for Silvaco, and it will show you the device structure as well as the device performance parameter. I have started with a very basic thing. The reason being, majority might not be doing the research specifically in the devices domain, but they should get something out of this 5 days course. Okay. So Silvaco analogy is like people who are working actually in the lab, clean room. Unfortunately, we do not have class 1 clean room in India. But there are people like Global Foundries and for the EPFL University, they have created class 1 clean room and they are using those facilities. But if you do not have this thing, what alternative can you do? Instead of actually having the fabrication lab, let us go to the Athena fabrication simulation process and check all those process related things here. And this was the for process analogy. And if you are interested into device parameter, you can go to the Atlas thing. Yes. Now talking about Atlas. Yes. Yes. Athena Supreme and T Supreme. T Supreme and Medicine. T Spice. These these were the some more options available with TCAT, as I haven't explored this particular aspect. But yes, if you are interested in T-Spice, S-Spice, Medici kind of mixed mode simulation, it can be very well done in Silvaco. Yes. Focusing on first thing, first thing we'll learn will be the device simulation. Atlas. So for device simulation, Atlas is the only, you need to invoke Atlas, and you will write program in the deck build. You will give save it as .in file. You will give it to the Atlas. Atlas will run it, give the log files. The log files will be plotted on the Tony plot, and finally you will try to analyze your results, right? So shall I do it for you? Or, okay, first I'll go for the Atlas. Then I'll show you how Atlas works. Then I'll go to the Athena. Then I'll show you how Athena works. Okay. Yes, Atlas gives you an option to go for. It is C compatible. .in file is not basically C, but all those codes written in Atlas is C compatible, and it gives you the flexibility to go for DC analysis, AC analysis, device variational analysis, like if you are making a device, what parameter comes to your mind? If say I want to make a MOSFET, what parameters comes to your mind? MOSFET, metal, oxide, semiconductor. So it will be having some metal, and if it is having a metal, metal will have a work function. Then oxide, if it is having an oxide, what will oxide have? Oxide will have a dielectric constant. Then semiconductor. Then if it is a semiconductor, then what property should it have? What is its EG? What is its electron affinity? What is its density of states? So who will define all those things? The library file of Atlases will define all this thing. And for MOSFET, another parameters could be, what is the dimension of metal? What are the dimensions taken for oxide? What are the dimensions taken for semiconductor? Which dielectric, which oxide are you taking? Are you taking silicon dioxide, or you are taking HFO2, or you are taking Al2O3? Which insulator you are taking? Which semiconductor you are taking? You can vary it. Then how are you doping it? You are doping it uniformly, or you are doping it in a Gaussian way. That also matters. So Atlas gives you flexibility to vary those parameters. Okay. So this will, just a moment, I'll show you the Silvaco code. Share the screen. Atlas does this, does that. Let us go to the exact atlas thing. As an example, I was doing it at the back. Yes. So when you will be opening Silvaco, let's go to the very first step. This is Silvaco screen. It is deck build, it is Dev edit, and then Tony plot. All these things you can see. This is done. Out of this, I have loaded an example. I'll show you. Yes. The very first line, what have I written? It is not visible here. Yes, it is not visible. Yes. Go Atlas. The very first line I have written it in Go Atlas. So which property am I interested in? I am interested in device property, not the process property. Let us divide this lecture into, yes, it is doing the bulk simulation, as Silvaco does the bulk simulation. Bulk simulation means you are considering if you are considering silicon, you are considering that the unit cell of the silicon is being repeated in all three directions, X, Y, and Z. If you are considering silicon dioxide, then you are considering the unit cell of silicon dioxide to be repeated both X, Y, and Z. So Silvaco considers all the materials that you are writing in its 3D bulk form. That is why it is called as bulk simulation. There was a query in the chat box, so I am answering it. Yes, the very first line what have I written here is Go Atlas. Then I am defining mesh. What is this mesh means? Mesh means which are the points I need to consider, like, let me open Paint, I'll show you. Which dimension, like if I want to make this PPT, yes. See, if I want to make a silicon, this whole yellow thing is a silicon. But what are the dimensions of the silicon? From 0 to, the by default dimension that Silvaco takes is micrometer. So it is from 0 to 0.8 micrometer. And in Y direction, it is varying from 11 to 15, means it is of 4 micron and it is of 0.8 micron. So, and I can define how is simulator going to take. I can define, here you can define n number of points in a plane. But how many points you are supposed to pass on to optimize your simulation time, to optimize your simulation platform. Okay. So that is what being done by mesh thing. So in X direction, you are applying it, and it is Atlas is doing simulation in 2D. If you are giving it only X and Y, by default, it is simulating in 2 dimension. But if you are giving it X, Y, and Z, then it can simulate in 3D also, right? Usually for analysis purpose, what people do is, in Silvaco, if you are considering this thing as X and Y, the 2D simulation is faster and it gives you some 80-85% accurate results. So people usually work on 80% time, they work on the 2D device simulation. But if you are interested, no, I want to take the width also into consideration, and Atlas can do a 3D simulation also. But here the example is for the 2D simulation. Please, this 2D simulation is not for 2D material. This 2D simulation only considered that the Z direction dimension is unity. Yesterday thing was the for 2D material simulation. Okay. So I have defined X mesh. I have defined Y mesh. Then what did I define? I defined regions. The region 1 is of silicon. Region number equal to 1 is silicon. Please zoom if it is not visible on your screen. Region 1, region number equal to 1 is of silicon. Region 2 is equal to oxygen, metal, MOSFET. You have considered semiconductor. You have considered oxide. What is left? Metal is left. So you are considering C. There is a one metal gate with from X equal to 0 to 0.5 and Y is from minus 0.0 to So these X max, Y max, X dot, Y dot, these all are spatial coordinates. Nothing, nothing has to need to be confused here. Okay. Then you have considered silicon. In region and electron, you have considered silicon. In region 2, you have considered oxide. In region 3, you are saying that some electrodes are there. Okay. So after that, what you are considering? What should be the doping order? The doping has to be p-type or n-type. So you are saying that there should be a uniform doping of p-type. Then if it is p-type, then what should be its peak concentration, like 1e 17, 1e 16, 2e 16. These are the doping orders. Then you can consider, instead of considering uniform doping, what can you consider? Instead of considering uniform doping, you can consider Gaussian doping also. So first doping they have considered as uniform doping, and the second doping that they have considered is a Gaussian doping. So they have, and some part they are considering it as p-type, another is they are considering at n-type. So please focus. But what are the basic steps? Yes, Vidyavati. Dr. T. Vidyavati, you want to ask some question? Okay. So what have we done? We have given the region, then we have given the points X mesh, Y mesh, then we have filled those region with silicon, oxide and electrode, then we have given doping. So how many output we have given? Dimension, material and doping. P-type, N-type, we are not writing it, doping it with N, boron, doping it with arsenic. Right now we have not written it. So if it is writing it as P-type, so it will be by default considering boron. If it is written as N-type, by default it is considering at phosphorus. But you can dope it with arsenic also if you are interested. But I am showing you a very simplistic example so that the result, then I am plotting the structure file. I'll show you how the structure file looks. After this, wait. Right now, I have not given any biasing. I have not given any frequency, AC or DC thing. I am just giving dimension, material and doping. And then this STR file will be shown. What else is written here? Let it come, I'll show you. Someone texted me that the simulation part is not clear. It might not be possible for me to do it in this mode. But yes, if you have downloaded the software and you are struggling with it, then I can help you. Write this, load this example, try to run this, debug like this. We are trying to introduce you with all the possible simulation tools. But we might not be able to give you everything in this particularly online mode. If would have been an offline mode, so we would have sat with you and resolved your issues. Yes. What have we seen? Yes. So you might be wondering what for madam is waiting. I am waiting to show you the line-wise line code so that you can do it by your own whenever you try once. Let me see. Yes. Once that structure file is stored, after that what will happen, I'll show you. After that structure file, what you are interested in? You are interested in, you have not till now, you have not given it any bias. So once that structure file with meshing dimension and all is stored, then you need to give it some bias. So how can you give bias? You will include some models. You will give S drain, S source. Yes, please see. You can, I think you can see the stony plot. You can see this stony plot. And what is there? It is metal at the gate. Then after that, what is there? Oxide in between in the gate and the semiconductor. And here at the down, what is it? It is semiconductor. So MOS, metal oxide semiconductor, is here. With dimension, can you see? It is varying from 0.5 to 5. So Y dimension is 5 micron and X dimension, it is varying from 0 to 1.5. So this MOSFET is simulated in the micron range. So what is the next net doping? The net doping of the substrate is N-type and spode. What are the materials I have? It is showing you the doping. I'll show you the materials. Show you the materials so that it is clear which is silicon, which is. I'll show you the electrodes also. Like, okay, right. So this is the one Tony plot output. The second is log file. What is in log? What we are expecting? We are expecting the current versus voltage variation. So please see on x-axis, you are varying the voltage in from 0 to -3. Why you are varying voltage in 0 to -3? The considered PMOS, consider MOS is of P type. And if it would have been N type, you are considering to the gate voltage to be positive, right? And you are getting a current of the order of 10 raised to the power -6, -5. So this got current are of better, matlab, it is as per your need. You are okay with it. If the current is of the order of -7, -12, then this current is very low and you cannot drive any other device using this, right? Now we'll go for doping breakdown voltage. Another examples I would like to cover would be, so now is it clear with a Silvaco Atlas? We have done one example on Atlas. If you insist, then we can go for another Atlas example. Otherwise, I can go for the Athena. MOS 1, MOS 2 diffusion example. Okay, I'll open the another example. Again, DIBL extraction. Yes. It is again, what is DIBL? If you are interested in simulation, you should be aware of some basic physics. DIBL means drain induced barrier lowering. When you are scaling down your MOSFET, right, there are n number of negative effects on the scale down dimension. These are called as short channel effect. And those short channel effects are extremely detrimental to your chip performance. So that is why creating a DIBL is very mandatory. Like I'll run another example which will show you how the DIBL does. Again, same silicon dioxide and electrode. Now see, there are two MOSFETs, but they are having two different current. In first case, it is starting at -1 volt, and in second case, it is starting at -8 volt. So what will, in order to measure DIBL, you should have two current voltage characteristics, because it is analyzing the drain bias effect on the MOSFET performance. So it is getting two curves, and from these two curves you can extract DIBL. If you can see, I'm not sure, please see at the right corner. Yes, it is visible here. What is the DIBL? What is the JSHAM? All these variables and their extracted values, P gamma, X gamma, it will be summarized here. Okay. All the STR file you can directly click and plot. You can directly, it gets stored here. You can directly click and plot your STR file. You can directly click and plot your log file. So many programs are being running. I'll close all the windows. I'll reboot it. Sorry. Just a second. Yes. Shall I show you another example of Atlas, or I should be going to the Athena part? You can type with that drain induced barrier lowering, good. But you can calculate it just by using a command extract DIBL, and you can give it. Okay, people want to go for the Athena thing, right? showing Athena will be too much for a I'll show you one more simple example of Atlas. Then we will go to Athena, because in my whole PhD or the PhD that I have guided, it is 80 or 90% type people are working on the Atlas. Why? You can analyze and process thing via analysis. You can analyze these processes like oxidation, implantation, ion implantation, and all those things. But what is the issue? You cannot get a practical chance to do it by your own. So you cannot verify it. So even if you are having a limited lab capability, going for the Atlas option is better. So I am taking another Atlas example, then we'll go for the Athena, because we have one whole hour, so we can continue it, don't worry. So now I am showing you an example of diode. Let us see what is written here. Go Atlas, very first class, very first line. Then defining the mesh, I have already told you X mesh, Y mesh. Then the first region of silicon and the two regions. Diode is like entire silicon, and here electrode 1 as anode and electrode 2 as cathode. So that is what they have defined. They have defined. Earlier was MOSFET. Now this is diode. So the region 1 is of silicon, and there is an anode this side and cathode that side. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Tufel, you want to ask any question? Yes. Then you have doped the some part of the silicon via N-type and another part via P-type, because you wanted to make it a PN junction diode. So in this entire silicon, you have doped it with P and N. Then what have you? You have saved the structure file. Now what will you do? You will define the work function, because wherever there is a metal, the work function is the most crucial thing. Then you are putting the bias. V anode means the bias voltage applied at anode. V anode. V, it is starting from 0.5 and it is going till 1 with a step size. V step is of 0.05. So from 0.05 to 1 it is going up with a step size of 0.05, and then it is plotting you these results. Please see. This is diode. How can I say it is a diode? Please see. Here, what is the doping order? P-type. Here, what is the doping order? Again, P-type. But what is the doping? And at the anode side, the doping order, please see, P-type, P-type. And what is the doping order here? N-type. The red one is showing N-type behavior with a concentration of 16. The magenta color is showing a P-type behavior with a concentration of 20. So there is forming a junction between the anode and the cathode. That is why you can call it as a diode. And what are the diode characteristics? If you are seeing, it is showing you a typical on to off current characteristics with a knee voltage around 0.7. So this is what you are expecting, isn't it? I got one thing in the chat box, CDD. I am not aware what CDD is. We'll discuss about it post I complete my presentation session. Okay. So this is another example of Atlas. Now, as promised, I'll show you some of the Athena examples. So I'll again sharing you my slides. So we are through with the Atlas part. Yes. This you know, how will you do? This you know, how will you do? How will you vary the concentration, doping? It is constant or Gaussian. So now you can do this part as discussed, right? Now I will go to the second part of this hands-on. It is Athena, right? Athena is process oriented. So Athena simulation is you can make arbitrary 2D structure, but this time you will not be drawing it. You will not be. You are actually growing it. It can be like by diffusion, diffused, implanted, incorporated, doped, ion implant, point defect, line defect, oxidation, thermal expansion, material deposition. That is why I was not coming on Athena, because it is way vast than you can imagine, right? But yes, it is very interesting. If you are interested, what can you do? First of all, how you make MOSFET? What do? You simply take a semiconductor, then you dope it. How do you dope it? You dope it via ion implantation. So you convert all the dopant in the atomic form, and then via E-gun, electron gun, you are imparting it within the substrate so that those dopants gets inside your substrate. So it is called as ion implantation. So if it is ion implantation, what should be the energy given to each ion? What should be the inclination of those dopant atoms? How it should be done? Okay. Then how masking is done? How to change that masking order? What will happen? What will happen if I am masking it like layer? If I am masking layer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 as defined in the design process, if I am changing that masking order, that will also create havoc. So if I am interested in calculating that, then I should go to Athena. So I can keep on talking about these things because it's an hands-on thing. So let us again go to the software thing and check for some Athena examples. I'll cover 3 or 4 Athena examples. Line wise line.
Dark is rouse ahead. Dark is rouse.
Then let me know whether, yes, I think now the software screen is visible. Yes. Again, I'll go. Well, again, I'll show you the MOSFET example first because 90% of those circuits are made of MOSFET. So you should know how it is made, be it Atlas or be it Athena. The very first example itself. What is the first line written here? Go Athena. Then instead of mesh, what is written here? Line X location, line Y location. In Atlas, you are passing the points. You are passing the points where those Poisson equations or drift diffusion equations need to be solved. But here, you are passing, instead of passing the point, you are passing the line. Because whatever, if you are heating it, oxidizing it, you are oxidizing it throughout the line. So line dot X, line dot X, line dot Y, then orientation, it is at 100 degree with respect to C phosphorus with a space multiplication of 2. Why you are writing at diffuse with a time of 30, temperature diffusion at temperature 1000 degrees Celsius, then dry O2 press means you will or this diffusion will be taking place in presence of oxygen with a pressure of 1.01. So diffuse for 30 seconds with at a temperature of 1000, then dry O2, press it, then etch the oxide. Why you are doing it? Because you want to create a P-well mask. So you are doing it. Then after that, what you need to do? You need to create a P-well implant. That is what they have done. They have doped it with boron. Dose means how much boron need to be doped? At12. Then what energy? If it is the ion implantation, as I have told you, then what should be the energy? The energy should be 100 electron volt. This energy is very high. Then again, you are diffusing it at 950 degrees Celsius for 100 minutes. This time you are considering a wet O2, not the dry O2. You want O2 to get within it. Then you first P-well is created using boron doping. Then after that, first of all, implants mask was created, then P-well has been created. Then after that P-well, what you need to create? You need to create N-well. So for N-well, what you do, diffusion are you supposed to make? You need to make a diffusion of P-type impurity. Participants, please keep yourself muted. Yes. Then you diffuse it with a pressure of 1. After that, what will happen? You will take all the sacrificial oxides. So this is how you etch all the oxide, diffuse it for 20 minutes, and then again in presence of dry oxygen. Suraj Kumar, please mute yourself because I'm muting you for the past three consecutive times. Yes. Then I have taken silicon, I have drawn a mask, I have made a P-well, I have made an N-well. But why I need to make P-well and why I need to make N-well? Because I want to make CMOS, I want complementary MOS. I want to mount both NMOS as well as PMOS. So if I want to mount NMOS, it has to be mounted in P-well. If I want to mount PMOS, it has to be mounted in P-well. So right now no MOSFET is grown, only wells are grown. Then I'll extract the gate oxide thickness. Then now I am doping it with P-type. Then I am depositing a thick poly. Dippo, poly, thick, divi. What does it mean? All these are the syntaxes. I'll tell you. Deposit a polysilicon of thickness 0.2 meter, divi of with a thickness of 10. So what is the best way to go to that syntax is, whenever you are coding, keep this manual handy. Keep Atlas manual handy. I can post that Atlas manual here in the group. I don't mind. But when you post, keep that manual, because although I'm working on it for years, but still remembering syntax might not be very easy for me, right? So if you want to code and remember syntax, just keep that manual handy. But if you are interested in what this depot means, just go to that manual, Control F depot. It will give you depot with these parameters will give you this result. Okay, then you are implanting it with boron, implanting it with phosphorus. So all these things are process related. You are diffusing, etching, implanting. These all are processes. These all are not device parameters. Okay. Then you'll extract it. Then now you have started calculating the device parameter. Once that device has been made through some process, then you are making checking its device parameter. Again you are putting bias. So how are you putting bias? Solve V drain. What does it mean? Applying a drain bias of 0.1. Then solve V gate 0, and it is varying from 0 to how much volt? 3 volt. Please see this line. I'm talking about this. I have talked about this. Bias the drain. The drain bias here is, what is the drain bias here? The drain bias here is 0.1. What is the gate bias here? Please see. The gate bias here is from 0 to 3 volt with a step size. It is going 0, then 0.25, then 0.5, then 0.75, then 1. So it is going from 0 to 3 with a step size of 0.25. And then you are again saving the structure. So what will be the effect of these biases on the structure? Then it will extract threshold voltage and threshold. Let us run and see how it runs. You see the right hand side red written things are the extracted parameters. Yes. Yes. Can you call it as MOSFET? Yes, it is a MOSFET. See, the net doping throughout the silicon is of the order of p-type, very less. Right. Then this is the source is doped with n-type of the order of 21. Drain is doped with again n-type with the doping order of 21. The gate is having an electrode, and now this is the structure file. But what you are interested in, how the current will vary. Please see how the current is varying. You are again getting a beautiful quadratic MOSFET curve. I will show you it in the logarithmic scale. Just give me a second. I will be showing it on the logarithmic scale. Please see. The leakage current is of the order of 10 to the power minus 12. And the drive current is of the order of 10 to the power minus 5. So I on to I of is, what is the ratio of I on to I of? On current is of 10 to the power minus 5 and off current is 10 to the power minus 12. So what is, how much is my I on to I of? My I on to I of is 10 to the power 7. So it is a very good I on to IF ratio that I am getting using. But these all are very optimized and commonly used things, right? Then if you are not interested in MOSFET, yes, what this CDD means? If you are interested in CDD, let me see what is it. CDD stands for, let us see CMOS lecture. Okay. Then we are coming to the second and the final example of Athena. Again, go Athena with the cut file. Yes, you are here. What are you doing? Please see. You are depositing, you are masking, you are implanting. Implant amorphous boron with a dose of e raised to power 12 and energy of 100 electron volt. Please see. What does it mean? Implant amorphous boron of the order of charged coupled devices. Okay. I haven't explored it, but if there is an example available, let us try to explore it together after this example. Okay. Then the second is implant amorphous phosphorus with a dose of, earlier I am implanting boron, then I am implanting phosphorus. See, the dose is varying. Earlier it was E3, E12. So how can you tailor it? Run the same thing. You first time you vary the dose. Second time you vary the energy. And then you see what is the effect. But if you physically you are doing it, it will take an enormous amount of resources. But in simulation, you can check it then and there without any. Yes, you need to spare time. But apart from time and the software and computation, no other resources involved. But if you are actually going to let it run. So another task I am giving you in today's talk will be if I want to analyze inverter performance in Silvaco, I will invoke Athena or I should invoke Atlas. For inverter performance, I'll type it in the chat box, don't worry. But you should think about it. Just listening to someone remotely located and not gaining anything out of it is not good. Because tomorrow we'll start off with this question. Yes, I think it has stopped running. Let us see the results. Yes, latch up. The people who know CMOS, they know the only disadvantage that we have in the CMOS is the latch up issue. So here they are showing that latch up in the screen, in the structure. Then before latching up, the drain current is being locked to a very high amount at a particular time. Then these are the variation in the potential. So very beautiful contour you can get here. You can show it in your research article. You can show it in your class project. But you have to work on it. Someone else won't work for you. Because this, I won't say this, learning a Silvaco code is not more than 3 to 4 days work. But you should be doing it. You should not say, yes, you will do it or someone else. See, I can change its doping I can change its from electron concentration to hole concentration. I can see the donor concentration. I can plot it. So n number of things are there, but you should be very thorough with the device physics. The primary prerequisite of this simulation is you should be through with your device physics. You want one more Methena problem? I know you are doing it from 9 in the morning, but let us take one more example. I'll conclude it faster, but let least we should do. 4-5 problem DIBL extraction, body effect extraction. These something I really appreciate because it gives a proper background to the person who is starting doing research. So it is Athena based. Earlier we have it has yes. Please see, it has extracted great bias effect. Please see what are the effect of this how in first case this particular code was written to extract the body effect. Means what will be the effect if I am applying different biases at the substrate. So this is what effect is there. We see only this graph in our textbook. We don't get any chance to actually do it and learn it. Textbook shows that yes it is the if the back bias is not connected, your MOSFET will get on at 0.4 volt, and if the back bias is connected, your threshold voltage can be increased from 0.4 to 0.7. In this case, the drive current will obviously go down, but the leakage will also go down, right? The textbooks writes this and leave it, but how can you cross verify it? Simulation is the method. Okay. As promised, charged coupled devices, right? The charged coupled devices, I have googled it. So they are showing it like if at all you are using some organic devices, or you are using some optical devices, in that case your charge coupled thing comes into picture. Okay. So there is example of opto as well as organic. So please tell me your work is based on opto or your work is based on organic, so that we can start. Or see, Silvaco is very rich in example. The reason being it has captured no anyone. Does that mean? I don't know. But if it is a charged couple thing, they're showing it for the opto applications. Okay. For opto application, instead of potential only, what input you give? See, instead of potential only, see, X mesh, Y mesh is clear. Material I have defined, region defined. I have told you the electrode definition. I have told you the doping definition. This much I have told you in the earlier example. Please check. Go to Atlas, then X mesh, Y mesh, then defining the region. All the steps are same. Then Defining the doping, it is same, right? Then you are defining the material with how? Now, how opto is different from the electrical devices, I'll show you. In optical devices, it is not mandatory that only potential will be your input. You can also give a light as input. So if we are incidenting a beam in region 1 at point this at an angle of 90 degree with a power file is, this opto example is giving you a source light, how a light source should behave. The light should behave with a wavelength starts from 0.5 and wavelength ends at 0.8 with a how many waves in between? 8 waves. So you know how to give bias, V drain, V gate, V source, but you do not know how to give light as input. This line is showing you how to give light as input and how can you vary it. You can vary its angle, you can vary its wavelength, you can vary the number of waves, means light waves incident. You can vary at which position it has to be given depending on your device structure. Then again you are applying some potential and checking for the device performance. Yes, please see. For the cathode, as the light intensity is increasing, the current magnitude will also increase. This is what is shown here. A perfect thing. Whether you are increasing the light intensity, both anode as well as cathode photocurrent will increase. And this is the structure you have implemented. Anode, cathode, a simple two-terminal device. Okay, this was the result for the earlier one. Okay. Yes. I'll see what other what do you mean by CTD, and I'll try to show you. But my expertise lies in electronic devices dealing with the potential, and that too specifically talking about the low power devices like tunnel FET, FinFET, like tunnel FET, FinFET, and thin film transistors and all. So I haven't worked on CDD devices. If you come with a specific device name, I might explore it and then tell you. Okay. So with this, can we stop this hands-on session? Yes. Or you have more question, you can shoot it here. I can see 39 participants connected, but only 4 to 5 actively connected. Okay. I'll wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. Just post the question in the chat box. I won't ensure that yes, I will resolve it, but yes, I will try to resolve it. If not today, we are again meeting tomorrow at 9. So probably at that time. I am very well here. Please post your question. I am ready to discuss because this is an hands-on session. I have told you how to install software, how to do this, how to do that. But if you are confused about some steps, if you're confused about how to do it, please ask me. Okay, then with this we come to the end of. Yes, I'll provide you. Okay. Someone is asking for the software link. It is not a freely available software. It is a licensed version. But yes, it's okay, fine. So we have come to the end of this second session. So we'll meet again at 2. That hands-on will be more inclined towards the terahertz aspect. Mine was towards the CMOS thing, and that will be towards the terahertz or the metamaterial aspect. So I'll request you to please be part of it. We'll meet at 1:50 and the session will start at sharp 2. Okay. Thank you for your time.